Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. Well, I can't draw, but here I'm trying once again to draw. Cats are feeling frisky. I'm getting so skinny I have to go back to suspenders, hold my pants up. Anyway, the 7th year, the 73rd day, the first video of Frank's School. This is the Curator's House cluster. I'm going to call it. This is the Curator's house right there. Now, before I go into this, I haven't probably shown this for a while. This is a photograph. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. It's a photograph that dates from probably 1860, 1870, something like that. I'll move it close and then further away. That's the way this village looked before it was abandoned, deserted, or abandoned, bulldozed, and forgotten. Now, later, when my grandfather had bought it, this would be about 1950, that same area looked like this, where the buildings were basically all gone except for that was the Oppenheimer house. That's the place where this house is right now. I hope you can see this. And that's where this stuff will be, or is actually. All right, now the cluster itself. This is you might call it Old Main in a university or something like that. This is a very big building. My grandfather built it. Now this whole area, I could call this the East Village, because there is a South Village, there's the village center. Up at the edge of the woods, there's a North Village, and there is the West Village, where so many of the folk huts are going to be. Anyway, this I call the upstairs Thomas Hockling Hall, in honor of my German friend Thomas Hockling. There's a performance stage in there, and I fantasized that someday he would give one of his wonderful concerts. The lower part of it, I think of it as SK, Shirley's Keller, Thomas's wife Shirley, and there's all kinds of stuff in there, which is related to the fact that the curator's house is in the center of everything. There is so much. I mean, there's well, I hadn't ever. I've shown it other places. This area here is for pigs. I feed the goats in there in this area. This area, there's a fireplace out there. But anyway, that's only about half the building. All right, so what's around the curator's house? Well, this is an incinerator. It's a very big incinerator. We call it the Beast. It's fed this way. This is a spot I've designated for crushing glass. It's just some pallets fastened together. This is, I call it the hammer hut. I'd like to drive a very big, a hammer with about a 80-pound head on it, a tilt hammer, and drive it with wind power right there with a forge against here, what do you call it, for, where I could actually melt metal right in here, but a forge right there. This is a charcoal retort. There's a way to drive down into this and through the barn and out the other side. This is a road that goes on to my cousin's property, and it goes out to the road. You can drive into the upstairs of the barn right there. And this is an old road. It can't be used anymore really, because ground from the house where I live in that was excavated was dumped here, and it would have to be re-excavated to re-establish that road. But part of it is there. And well, I'll get to the water in just a second, I guess. These are folk huts. These are all folk huts. Those are not. This one is basically just a platform to connect these two. My plan for it would be a very small grist mill, powered by, from this water wheel. This, perhaps a dwelling, not designated. This a bathhouse, and this a laundry. This is the site of a very large furnace, big enough to build burn an entire pallet, or several. But I don't mean to have a big hot fire, just a big long fire, and that can be fed this way. I'll have to build stairs in through here to feed that, but that will also heat water for the laundry in the bathhouse. But the bathhouse, some of it may be outside. Just earlier this week, or last week, I bought 4 bathtubs for $10 a piece, white bathtubs, and And I may just have them out in the open air. I don't know. I'm not sure. Although this area in here is such an invitation to build a hammer beam structure to roof it. I just don't know, but these huts will be independent. They will be separable because of that 100 square foot limitation. Down here is still another folk hut, which is to hold things that are highly flammable, that I can keep them away from the center village, but also to act as the dead man, you'd call it, to pull the clotheslines for drying things. This is a fence. I'll probably make the southern side or the southwestern side either white or reflective. So this whole area is going to be very much about water, and for the what flows out of it, there's this area out through here that I can use for settling ponds or whatever, filter beds maybe you'd call it, and maybe down here as well. Let's see. This is the one side of the hog yard, and that's a building that I had designated for a harness maker. There's another one that matches it over here, but I had to stop somewhere. And this is a proposed building. There'll have to be a bridge right here. This is a proposed building which we may start possibly with my friends from Hong Kong, where I'll have a very large, not high, but very big volume water wheel right here. Let me show you the water wheels. There's one right there which we ought to be able to build in August, because it's just going to be rigged together. And its purpose with a rope drive is to drive the laundry material, the laundry. I've got a flat belt old washing machine, and the gristmill stuff. There's a very large water wheel intended underneath the curator's house. And this, as I already spoke to, and probably I'll do a small one here, which will be an impulse wheel that will turn fast. There's a drop here that's about maybe 8 feet. Now, and the water supplies, I could use this. I have used that, but I haven't maintained it. This one is critical, and I can bypass it. It tends to bypass anyway in the winter time if I don't maintain it. It leaks out here and goes down. That's the reason why I'm going to make that wheel a pitchback wheel, so that it can be powered from above, but also from part way down. There is the way that I'll go on a sluice held by these buildings to get high enough for that wheel. That wheel will be about a 6-foot wheel, I think, maybe 7. That water can go on. It can go right underneath the middle of the curator's house. It can go by the curator's house and on down. And its principal purpose is going to be to drive a line shaft, which will go out through that building. I may be able to get 2 horsepower. I once concluded out of that. All right, so there's that water supply. And then there's a new water supply from lower down. There's where I can get a lot of water. I can get a lot of water, and that water goes on. All right, it all looks very complicated, and it is complicated. This is a tree. It's a big walnut tree. This is a way to drive it down around. This is a place where I've just got wood to burn in here at a furnace that I've got in there. The goats come down through here I feed them here in the morning. I'm going to build this up with pallets, because mud and of course ice and snow is not good for the goats' feet. Well, this whole complicated thing, I've got to fix the foundation, I've got to fix the roof, I've got to make a safe way to get in to this building, clean this up, and then that would be where we'll see if they can hang out this August. All right, bye for now.